We start tonight with a major event for Southern Colorado, finding a way to rebound from the impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic. This month, the famous Pueblo Chile and Frijoles Festival is coming back. They're doing it throwback style and bringing the event back to its roots, much smaller and all about the farmers.
We had, 3,000 or so people and one food vendor, and it was real small.
Rod Slyhoff, president of the Pueblo Chamber, reminisces on what the Chili Fest was like back when he founded it 26 years ago.
We wanted to be sure that we had kept the tradition of the festival going. So many things are just canceling everything.
This year, they'll have 2 locations with 6 roasters. Union Avenue will be open for business so visitors can explore all Pueblo has to offer.
In a traditional year, we have 184 street vendors, 48 food vendors, and 6 big entertainment tents.
About 175 people will be allowed in each area at a time. There will be a little food and entertainment while they wait for those chilies to be roasted, but otherwise, folks being invited out to the farms like Di Tomaso, which has been roasting for weeks.
I think they'll be able to come out to the farm and experience what it really looks like and how it's really grown and how it's picked and how we do it.
They say keeping the fest going is so important because it's grown to be a big part of their bottom line each year.
It's a pretty big deal. I think it is probably at least 50% of our yearly income. We really depend on it.
And the festival really came about as a celebration of the flavors that Pueblo has to offer, including, of course, the famous Pueblo chilies, which are really cool and different because they grow up toward the sun, not down. And don't forget the forgotten frijoles, which look like green peas when they're growing, but when they dry out, that's when they're ready for harvest and become those pinto beans we love.
They're cheap, they're high in protein, they're high in fiber, and you could feed your whole family for a year with just one bag.
Tommy RUSLER with RUSLER Produce says the pandemic has actually boosted demand for their beans.
The demand for pinto beans is about as big as I have ever seen it. I think that the extended lockdowns and people seeing empty grocery store shelves for a while really drove the point home to everyone how important it is to stock product like dry pinto beans in your pantry.
The Rustlers don't have their own stand at the festival. They instead supply the beans for the other growers. He says the frijoles are far from forgotten, and as far as the festival overall,
it's a million times better than having it canceled.
They're looking forward to the Throwback Style Fest and all it can offer in the age of COVID-19.